Hello, everyone. Oops, there's my hand right in front of the camera. So what I'm going to talk about, and I'm going to do some screen sharing today, is algorithm stuff. It's super important if you're utilizing social media as your main outlet to promote your business, which I do like pretty much 100%. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the differences between Facebook and Instagram, how to boost your algorithm, what are some do's and don'ts, and then I want to quickly touch on perfectionism and procrastination because I listened to an amazing podcast today, and I think I've shared it with a couple of you, but I'll drop the one that I've been listening to lately because he's in the network marketing space, and I feel like he has a lot of great knowledge. Hi. So I'm going to dive right into the algorithm. So what is the algorithm? I'll briefly touch on that because it's like a big scary word, I feel like. But basically what the algorithm is Facebook and Instagram have like a supercomputer that will analyze data and try to determine, one, if there's bots, and then we'll try to keep people on the platform, tries to promote community, because that's what their whole spiel is. That's what their whole mission is to build community within the world. So that's Facebook, and they're owned by the same person. So the algorithm is pretty similar for both, but there are some differences. So I'm going to dive into Facebook because this is the one that I've done the most research on and I know the most about. The main thing you really have to know is Facebook absolutely loves when you build community. When you are talking to other people, when other people are talking to you, when you're in their groups, when you're using their stuff, they love it. So the more that you are engaging with your audience and other people, the more that you are interacting in groups, the more that you're using Messenger, the more that your posts will start showing up into people's timelines. So there's one thing that I want to challenge you guys to, if you can do this for the next couple days, and then I'll do it with you guys, of course, but it's called the Me No Likey Challenge. And Katie and I have done this before, and it completely boosted all of our interactions. So like we were getting a lot more views in our posts, a lot more interactions in our posts, a lot more views in our stories and that sort of thing. And what it is for 3 days. So it would be tomorrow, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. You cannot like, love, care, face, the new face, angry face, sad face, any posts. Nobody's posts. You can't drop a like at all. All you can do is drop comments of 4 or more words. It's so hard to do. And you'll catch yourself like automatically going into autopilot, like just doing it and you're not even realizing it, but it will boost your algorithm so much. So why is that? Because Facebook prioritizes certain things more in the algorithm. If you're just going through and liking a bunch of things and you're not actively engaging, they're not going to show up your stuff as much. They really like when people are engaging back and forth with one another. So basically the way that I had it explained one time was that the algorithm is like a toddler and it just wants to please mom. So what it will do is based on like your history of viewing, like what kind of things you pause at, who you've been talking to, who you talk to in Messenger, who you talk to in comments on Facebook. And it's like, oh, they like each other. So then it'll bring more of like that person's stuff into your timeline. So what we're looking to do when we're doing engagement is we're trying to build community with people so that our stuff starts showing up on their page more. Now, there are certain types of posts also that are prioritized more than others. The very lowest is if you use just plain text with no background, nothing. That is the very lowest of the totem pole. Typically, and I actually tried this out the other day because I was just curious as to if it's still the bottom of the totem pole. I just did a post with words, no like background, no picture, nothing. And I think I got like 5 likes, and that's not typical for my posts. I usually get anywhere between like 20 to 200 likes on my stuff and comments, but I got like 8 or something stupid like that. So the very lowest thing, so if you can avoid just posting text, then I would refrain from doing so. The step up from that would be doing text with like a colored background, because it does stand out. It does have a different priority than just regular text. So you know how you can do like the little picture, or like you can do the weird backgrounds or whatever, or just like a color background. Do that with wording if you can. Then a step up from that would be picture with text. So it goes no text, or just text with nothing, no background, background, text with background, and then it goes picture with text. After that, it would be a video. If you're doing a video, and I don't mean live video, that means like a recorded video. So like a pre-recorded video that you upload to Facebook. And then it would be live videos. Live videos have the best, what's the word I'm trying to think of, priority with the algorithm. Like they want you to use that tool because it helps you connect with other people, and it's live. So it's not like it's something that's doctored. It's not like you're using a different tool on a different app or anything like that. Like this is their platform. You use their stuff. It makes them happy. And then watch parties are super important too, but watch parties, you got to do a specific type of way. So those are the different tiers of things. So if you're looking for engagement, I would make sure that you're doing a good mix of the high priority things if you can. So like video, picture with text, and live video. Live video is so important. I think it's important for more than just the algorithm. I think it's important for your audience to see who you are as a person, unrehearsed, unedited, unfiltered, and see that you're like a human, not just like a person that pumps up pictures. You know what I mean? So groups are, if you're engaging in groups, the more you engage with groups, what you'll notice is when you go to your newsfeed, all the posts from those groups will start showing up first in your newsfeed. If you post to a group and that counts as like a regular post, like almost like on your timeline. So there is a time frame that it's really important that you're not overlapping posts, and that's 90 minutes. So typically a post will have a 90-minute life cycle from when Facebook decides to show that post to when it will like start pushing it down and refreshing it with new things. Now there is ways to like bump it up in the algorithm, but like the 90-minute rule, if a post has been out for 90 minutes, typically it's reached its life cycle unless people keep commenting on it, and then it'll keep refreshing it. So try not to post two things, and stories is different, so don't worry about that. 2 posts within 90 minutes of each other. So like, let's say you post at 9 a.m. Try not to post again until like noon. Because if you do like 9 and then 10, now your 2 posts are competing with one another, and people will only see one or the other, or maybe not even at all. So that's a really important thing to keep in mind too, is to remember that 90-minute cycle. Some don'ts. So don't post within that 90-minute window more than once. Another don't is don't put your website in any of your posts. The reason being, any websites, any websites that are outside of Facebook. The reason being is because Facebook wants to keep you on its platform. It doesn't want you to go somewhere else. So any links that are posted in posts typically get pushed way, 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 way down into the algorithm, and you will see like next to no views on that. It might trickle through to people that you have high engagement with, that you're back and forth with them a lot, you're engaging on their posts a lot. Maybe you guys are talking in Messenger and that sort of thing. But typically, if you're posting a link into your post, it's gonna be pushed way, way, way down. So let me think of what else. Another thing that I would say try to refrain from doing, just because if you're trying to build your own brand, which I used to think building your own brand was like this thing where you had to have a certain look and like a certain, I don't know, like a logo and all that stuff, and that's not what it is. Brand is just who you are as a person. I really try to avoid sharing stuff from other people's pages. So if like somebody creates something, I like it, like maybe it's like a funny meme or something like that, and I'm like, oh, that's a good one that I want to share because I know it'll get engagement on my post. I will not share from their page onto mine because that just brings people to their page. So what I'll do is I'll either create my own meme, like if it's wording, I'll go to like Canva and create my own meme, or I'll just type it up in my thing, or I'll just save the picture and upload it myself. Because we're trying to create original content and keep people coming back to our page. So try not to share from different websites, different pages on Facebook, even if I know it's sometimes, I gotta turn my light on. I know it's sometimes tempting, like if you're getting good information to want to share it, like especially if you're talking about health and wellness topics and stuff like that, you want to share it. But I would really suggest from refraining for that. Oh my God, you can so tell I'm sweating. It's really hot in here. Stories. So stories have a completely different algorithm. I don't really have it figured out. I think it's as long as you're not posting a bajillion stories and like telling your entire life story within your stories in a day. If your dots look like Morse code, like they're like little tiny periods, you probably have posted too much to your stories for the day. But I know for a fact, one, that Facebook and Instagram like you to use the tools that they have separately. And I know I do a lot of video and I'll share it from Instagram over to Facebook, but as much as you can, try to utilize the tools within each platform because that'll boost your views. So like going into Facebook, uploading in there, using their poll, using their GIFs, using their music, and then doing the separate thing on Instagram too. So that's one way to make sure that you, hold on, I just got an email. Okay. Where'd I go? Oh, there I am. So that's one thing you can do. Another thing to boost your engagement is if you go to the way bottom, you know how you can see the views on the bottom, like who's all viewed your story. Start clicking on their little circle face and interact with them, because Facebook will see, oh, she's noticed that she viewed her story and now they're building a relationship. So let's show some more of her stories and bump it up to the front because people are liking this. So I noticed that when I start engaging with my stories, by going through the views and clicking on them and going to their specific page and seeing if they have a recent post and trying to engage with them genuinely, not making anything up or trying to like have a forced conversation, that my views go up significantly. They go from like 100 to 200. It's crazy. So if you can do that, I would suggest that too. Instagram, I haven't really figured out Instagram yet. I don't know. I don't think of there's like a specific time of day to post that is better than others. I don't really think, I don't know. They just want you to use their tools too. So if you can do IGTVs, I know for a fact that will boost you in the algorithm because their inventory for IGTV videos is really, really low. So they want to make sure that they're having a nice range for their audience to pick from. So if you are making IGTVs, that's really hard to say, they'll boost your post up because you are utilizing the tools within the app. Instagram lives, if you're doing Instagram lives, I think that's a really good thing to do. I have yet to do one. Okay, I will do that tomorrow. I'm gonna step outside my comfort zone and use Instagram live tomorrow. I challenge you guys to do something similar. Like if there's something that you've been thinking about doing, but you're like a little fearful of it, or there's a tool that you haven't quite utilized yet, I encourage you guys over the next couple days to try to do that too. Utilizing stories, of course, in Instagram, and then engaging, of course, because that'll pop your stuff up to the top of the news feed too. So make sure that you're using a good mix of stories and doing posts. I usually only post to Instagram once a day, like on the actual page. There might be a really rare occasion when I'll do two, but typically I'll do one a day. And then on stories, I try to I always show my 3 steps. I try to show something about my faith, whether that's I do a devotional or I do like a little Bible quote, or whatever. And then I always try to talk. Sometimes it doesn't happen, but I always like to try to talk to my audience because I want them to hear my voice. So I'm going to share my screen. Share content. Oh, only the host can. That's stupid. Do I have to make myself a host? Hold on. Oh, shoot. Oh, no, it's still recording. Sweet. Okay. Screen. Oh, more. I don't want to screen record. I just want to show my screen. Share content. Oops. No. Oh my God. It's me as I try to figure this out. Screen. Everything. All right, whatever. Start recording. Is that what I'm trying to do? Tell me if you can you guys see my stuff or no? I don't think
no, it's just your picture again.
Oh, stupid. That's not what I want to do. Share content. Maybe I can't. Everything on your screen, including notifications. Maybe I can't. Dumb. Okay. I used to be able to do it. Screen. Start broadcast. Oh, figured it out. So, I just wanted to, I'm going to talk about Lightroom real quick, because if you are utilizing Instagram, I think it's really good for you to have a preset. So what a preset is it is one, oh, hey, it's Clara. I like that post. It is like a filter almost that you apply to like all of your pictures so they look coherent. So like I'll just go down a little so you can kind of see how mine have changed. So I went from like this red based one when I had red hair, and I wanted it to pop out and people to know like when they're scrolling that that's my thing. And then I went to this like a gray one for a little bit. I don't really know how I felt about that one. And then recently I changed it to this bright one, and it starts right here. Like it's really bright and vibrant, and like you can see like it pulls the same like color tone. I just want something really bright that people can see. So Lightroom is the tool. Let's see, I'll pull up my camera roll. Let's do, I need to find a picture that I don't have edited. Let's do a little Brooklyn. So when you get so where I get all of mine is Etsy. So I just go to Etsy and, okay, no. And I just search for, I don't know, let's go with blue preset. And you'll get like all these different options, and they're dirt cheap. They're like $2. So like you can totally afford $2 to make all your pictures like look super nice, right? So you would just pick one. You would like, look at that one's only $1.78. That's so cheap. But the app that I use is called Lightroom. And what you first do is you got to, ooh, I did not mean to do that. You got to add the preset. So after you download it and you like unzip the file, we can go through that separately if you guys want to do this on your own. But you go from files, and let's just go with this Dove too, because that's one of them. I don't even know where it went. Oh, I think it's in my library. So all photos, let's see. Here's one. So that's like the preset. And then you'll want to create your own preset. So you click on these 3 dots at the top, and you click on, this might be really like over, you can pause, rewind this one after the YouTube comes up. So you create a preset. I always just name mine something simple like bright, so I know what it is. I'm going to do 11 or test, because so I know when I go into my own that it's a fake one. And then you just click check. And basically what it does is it just kind of like loads it into your background or whatever. So we're going to go to Little Brooklyn again. And at the bottom, you can scroll this over. And so you would just scroll over to preset. And then here's all the user presets that I've created. So let's find bright test. And you just click on that and it applies that filter. So like I got a bright one because I wanted something bright for summer. You could even just search summer presets and they'll have a bunch of different ones, but it applies like, it like enhances the photo. It makes certain colors stand out. It makes like all of your pictures have a uniform feel. I feel like with Instagram, like it's a must. That's because people judge you when you're adding them and they accept you, or if you're public and they go to your profile, what they're going to do is they're going to look at your first 9 pictures and they're going to see like, okay, are they pretty? Because Facebook is really, or not Facebook, Instagram is like all about image. Can I understand who this person is? Does it look like they're quote unquote pretty photos, like nice? They're not like Snapchat filters with dog ears and stuff like that. Or like really blurry, or like they like nice clean pictures that have like a certain feel to it. So I would suggest the Adobe Lightroom app is completely free. So you could download that, and both Samsungs and iPhones have that, but I would highly, highly, highly suggest using that, because when somebody clicks on there, they should be able to get kind of an idea about you. I'm going to talk about bios really quick, because I think that's really important. So like, what does your bio say about you? I'll go first to Instagram and then I'll go to Facebook, because you're trying to run a business off of your Instagram and off your Facebook. When you start running a business off your Instagram and off your Facebook, like your profile is basically not for you anymore. It's for your audience. So how can I communicate to my audience who I am in a quick snapshot? Because one, my profile is private right now because I'm trying to build it up a little bit more before I go public. And I feel like I'm just having a lot of success with gaining followers back by doing so. So I want them to see like a brief overview of who I am as a person. So I put my favorite Bible verse, Philippians 4:13. It's my favorite one. And I show stuff about, I talk about my faith. I show it in my stories. So it's not like I'm saying I'm a faithful woman, but I never talk about it. That'd be like you saying you have a dog and you don't actually have one, just so you can like try to connect with people that have dogs. Like, it just, don't lie, obviously. But if you're putting it in your bio, make sure that it is showing up within your profile, within your stories too. I put helping women master self-love because I talk about that a lot, because that was something that I struggled with for a long time. Wi-Fi financial freedom, because that's my business. Small town living, mom of 3. I think as moms, and I think pretty much all of us are moms, that initially you want to put that you are a mom. Like, that's what you want to put for your very first thing. But that is not who you are. That is just a part of you. I would like to know more about like, what is something that you're passionate about first? I mean, we're all passionate about our children, but I don't think that has to be the very first thing in your profile bio. I think it's good for people to understand who you are. I can talk about highlights some other day. This is just a way for you to highlight your stories. So like, I show my meal preps because that was something that I was doing for a while. My system is just like customer testimonies and stuff like that, and faith, just Bible verses and things like that. But you can just click on new if you want to make a new one. And then you just click on whatever stories you would like to save into that highlight reel. And then you can just change the little, like this little circle. You can edit the cover photo to be whatever you want it to be. So I just pulled a background of stars because I thought it looked kind of cool. But I just have different things like my skincare. I have the business. I did this push-up challenge thing. That was absolutely ridiculous, but I should probably do it again. And then football. But if they take a quick swipe, they should be able to kind of understand who you are. So they see like, I have a business post, so that I must run a business. I have kids. I'm holding a product in one picture. I have a dog. yeah, so you should highlight, at least try to show like a little bit about each of you in those. So Facebook, let's go over here. So again, I kind of did the same thing, but I did it a little different just because I want to keep them. I don't want, if people follow me both on Facebook and Instagram, I want them to have some different feels for both. So they're not like, oh, she's this boring, repetitive person. But I put self-love first. Philippians 4:13, mom of 3 / dog mom, small town living, healthy choices. And then these featured photos should kind of be in alignment with this too. So I did pick professional. Well, I did them myself and just applied a filter, but pictures of my family. But there's my family, my 3 kids, my dogs. And yeah, so same thing here. You can highlight different stories. And then that's what I would suggest, like something super clean, simple. If you Google Instagram fonts, that's how you can type something in and get that different font look if you would like. So any questions? I'm gonna pull up chat because I think there's some questions in here. Lightroom. Yeah, Lightroom is the best thing ever.
Do you have like a font app or do you Google fonts?
I just Google Instagram fonts and pick the first website.
And it's like free fonts?
Yeah, here, I'll show you.
Because that's really cool. Because I hate this stupid app that I have for fonts, so I don't really use it very much.
So I just Google, well, it's in my search history. So you go to Instagram fonts, and I literally click the first one, Instagram fonts generator. I don't do like my whole post in different fonts unless it's like big, like when I'm using one of the backgrounds, because I feel like it's distracting, and they typically show up a little bit smaller. I usually will use them if I want to emphasize a word. So like if I say like feel, or you can feel the product's working, or I think I talked about being worthy in one of my posts, and every time I mentioned the word worthy, I just pasted a different font so people would see it. But you would just type in Jennifer, and then it gives you a bunch of different options.
Dude, I never knew that existed. That's way better than the stupid thing because it's driving me insane because it keeps popping up on my stupid keyboard.
Oh,
so I'll be in the
yeah.
middle of texting people and then all of a sudden all these fonts pop up and I'm like, oh my gosh, I just want normal texting.
I just want it one time, not all the time.
Exactly. That's way easier.
Yeah, and then you just like double tap it, whatever one you want, or you just hold it down and you can copy it. Select all, copy, and paste. It's so nice. And it's like, if you like on my Instagram, like I did every line like a different one. So like my name, I made it all caps because I want people to be able to see my name. So I made it all caps and I bolded it so it looked different than everybody else. Because when you're searching people in like if you're like, I don't know, there's like let's say there's a whole line of people, your name with a different font will show up with a different font.
Oh, see, I didn't know that either. That's cool.
Mm-hmm. Anything else?
Thanks, buddy.
You're welcome, pal. So I highly encourage you guys to do that likey challenge thing because it will boost your engagement on all of your posts a ton. You'll be surprised, but you'll also be surprised how many times you want to like click on it without even like thinking about it. You're like, shoot, I just like that post, and then you have to like quick unlike it. It's funny, but it really works. I promise it really works. So you should try it out. Do you have questions about like engagement or anything like that?
I actually have another one.
Sure.
So today I had a call with Stephanie and she had said that as soon as someone accepts her friend request, she goes in and sends them a personal message saying, thank you for accepting my friend request. I'm excited to get to know you better. Do you do that as well? Do you feel like that builds more engagement on your own posts because you're constantly engaging with new people?
I don't personally message them right away. That's just me though. Like everyone operates differently. But what I do make sure I do is I will, if you go into friends, no, it's a different one. I think if you go into your Facebook, you click on friends and then you click recent. I always make sure I engage with these people first.
Okay, because that's what I've been doing for engagement is I'll go to my recent friends and I'll just start engaging with recent friends. But then I feel like I'm missing because I've been doing like crazy uploads. I've added like 800 people in
That's
10
awesome.
days. It's insane. But now I feel like I'm losing people.
Yeah, that can happen. But if you go to recent and engage with these people, I think that's a really good way because I think it shows you like you're maybe 20 people, last 20 people.
Okay, cool. Because I didn't know how far it went down, and I was like, oh, I'm just going through and engaging, hi, liking on posts and things like that. Do you think that you get better engagement when you go straight to their messenger?
If you can, I say yeah. Because
Okay.
like when I was talking about that priority thing,
Mm-hmm.
Facebook puts a super high priority on Facebook or messenger engagement. So like, and it's like immediate. It's crazy. So let's say I message, so I have a bunch of samples that just went out and I like messaged one of them and just asked her how her day was going today or whatever. Then I went over to my news feed and her picture popped up right away, like whatever she posted today.
Oh, wow.
Like popped up immediately because we were having a conversation in Messenger. I always say like Messenger is like the bedroom and their timeline is like the living room. If you're wanting to get like really good conversation, Messenger is the way to go because I think you get like surface level back and forth engagement on their timeline posts because sometimes people don't want to open up about stuff in front of everybody. So if you can get into their messenger, that's the best way. The best way to do it, honestly, is to engage with stories too.
See, I feel like I'm getting a lot more engagement, like people viewing my stories than actually viewing my posts lately.
Yep. So if you're feeling like your audience is gravitating towards stories, which there are a ton of people that just watch stories. And I think part of it is they're sick of political shit on Facebook in the timeline because everyone's stating their opinion about stuff, but people don't typically talk about that stuff in stories. So I think a lot of people just like the easy swipe back and forth. So my suggestion would be as much as you can show up in stories. Do post before and afters in stories, talk in stories, show what you're doing in stories. Yeah, as much as you can, just show up in the stories because if that's where your audience is, yeah, by all means, leverage that. But what I was talking about before is the views where you can see all the views on your posts. So if you just like click on this little circle, it'll bring you to their page. And then I'll engage with their most recent post. And then I just click the back button and I find somebody else. Oh, how sweet. My son is watching my stories. Yeah. So, and then I always try to put time aside to engage in stories as much as I can too. What I did want to talk about, I'm going to unshare if I can figure out how to do this. Oh God, stop. Oh, I did. I figured it out. I wanted to talk about perfectionism and procrastination because I think especially when you're in this industry and you're surrounded by people that maybe have been in the industry longer than you or they've done a lot of work with social media and stuff like that and maybe you're not quite there yet, that it's easy to want to make your stuff look perfect. I want my picture to be perfect. I want my message to be perfect. I want to make sure I say the right thing. So therefore you procrastinate because you don't want to A, fail, B, sound like an idiot, or C, look like a failure. And so you get into this procrastination, perfectionism loop. And trust me, I've totally been there. Like I want to make I want to make sure I say the right thing on live. So I'm not, and then I'm like, no, I can't go live today. Or I want to make sure that I look perfect or whatever. Today I was sweaty in my car and I was like, you know what? After listening to the podcast, I was like, all right, fine. I understand. And I'm kind of like a perfectionist when it comes to my social media anyways. And it's good to have high standards, but you can't allow it to paralyze you. And I hadn't gone live in a while. I think we were just so busy with things and with this whole stupid work thing that I have had going on lately. But I was like, I'm just going to go live and I'm going to talk what's on my heart. And I got so much response from it. And I'm so glad I did it. People won't know if your picture is perfect. People won't know if your message is perfect. In fact, if you try to be too perfect, you're going to come off as phony to people. As much as you can, I would say just be transparent and really talk. I used to be like, I can't swear. I can't, what else did I used to think? Like, oh, I have to make sure I say the exact right thing. And now I'm like, no, I want to sound like a human that people relate to. So if the I'm not going to say the F bomb because I feel like that's really, that's a little too much. But if the word shit comes out, people are like, okay, she's a real person and she's not just this phony or whatever. If I say my kids are being assholes, like that's what they are sometimes. And I love them. And people know that I love them because I show that I love my kids. But I think the more that you can be transparent, the more that you can be relatable is best. And they said this quote, if you are constantly striving to do A work, you're going to miss so many people. B minus work is what connects with the most people because your audience isn't perfect. And by you trying to be perfect, you could be missing those people because you're just not even talking. You know what I mean? I think of it that way. If I used to think I can't post right now because I don't even have anything good to say, which is never the truth. So never tell yourself that. You always have something good to say. Your story is always important. And never allow yourself to get caught into thinking that you have to say the exact right thing. Say what's on your heart. That's typically never going to lead you astray. So if you feel like you're getting caught in that perfectionism, procrastination loop, and like you feel like you're feeling like your posts are almost too rehearsed or too copied or too whatever, I encourage you just for one day, like let's just say for the next 24 hours to share what's on your heart about things. Really think about like who the person you were before you started thriving, and really relate to people and say, this is how I was. I know you guys feel this way. I am blunt about it now. I used to be so scared to be like, oh, I'm going to be this perfect person and I can't talk about naps because I'm a thriver and I can't nap. And now I'm like, I was tired, so I napped today. Like, you're a regular human. You don't have to think you're the superhero. You don't have to think like you have to have the perfect picture to throw it up. Some of my very best engagement comes from pictures where I'm not super done up and I don't have like my makeup on and I'm just being real. Like I posted a picture of my no makeup face the other day and it like gave me anxiety for a second. I was like, oh, and I was like, no, I'm going to relate to so many people if I am just being myself. And I don't want people to think that I'm perfect all the time because I'm far from it. So shoot for the B minus work, share what's on your heart. Don't try to have the perfect quote or the perfect thing to say. Just say what's on your heart and share. It won't lead you astray, I promise. So I just wanted to touch on that too, since we were talking about posting and algorithms and stories and stuff like that, don't post something a million times and delete it and not put it up, or take a bajillion pictures, never like any, and then never put it up. Then you just end up in this procrastination loop because you just want things to be done right and you end up just missing the mark altogether. So questions.
I have a question for you, Megan.
Yeah, shoot.
Where do you get your like the content that you post? Where do you get the sayings? Because they're always so on point, so straight to the point, and they're just so awesome. And I'm like, where does she get this? Because I don't just want to copy and paste, and but it's like, where does she get this?
Honestly, so if I am feeling a certain thing, like maybe I'm doing my, usually I try to plan out my posts for the week, but I didn't get to do that this week because we were in the car for 10 freaking hours on Sunday. But I usually will go to Pinterest and search quotes and then just elaborate on them. Sometimes I map out my entire week and then I come to the day and I feel like I have something else that I'm feeling. And I'm like, I need to talk about this instead. So I'll just search. So like, what did I post about today? Hold on. Let me look. Oh God. That one, it's just regular. So whatever. The other one, decide, is this the life that you want to live? That's me just like talking about, like, I reached a point where I was like, I don't want to live my life for somebody else forever. That comes from one of my 5 things. But the other post that I posted the other day, that's like, you end up pissing off some people when you do what's best for you. That's a Pinterest quote that I kind of just changed up a little bit. So I like have, here, I'll reshare my thing. If I can figure it out. Screen. Start broadcast. Let's see if it works. Okay. Pinterest. Not now. So I have like a whole quotes thing. So anytime I'm coming across quotes, I'm like, what I like to use the term, I heard Courtney Glazer say this. She said, I'm a content collector. So if you like are out and about and you see a quote, or like you hear something on a podcast or a video or something like that, I will always be writing stuff down, and there's always stuff in my notes that I am like, ooh, that's good. I need to write that down because I might need to use it for a post sometime. But anytime I'm just feeling something or whatever, I'll Google quotes about it, and then I'll Pinterest quotes about it, and then I'll just save them into like a little folder. So that's what I do. And then I just elaborate. Stop broadcast. Okay, give me my face back. Anyone else? You guys have any other questions? I know this ran a little later than usual, but I think there's lots of good info. No? Shoot, how do I stop recording? I have to like make, oh, that's how I do it. I don't want it to save in there. Don't judge me. Where's the other Megan Holcomb? Here she is, make host. All right, guys. If there's nothing else, I will stop.